back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and I'm very glad you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We have the director of this film, Oh My God, which
the
is...
accent's not very good though. You've got to say, oh my God.
Okay, fine. These days they just say OMG.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. But this is a really interesting film. It's a query into what is the nature of God, which is in a sense a query into what is the nature of reality, and in a sense what is the role of religion in that inquiry. So it's really very picturesque, it's highly aesthetic. Peter goes to all corners of the world to capture some really amazing footage, and well, that would be the subject of today's conversation. So Peter, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
Good
for
to have
having
you.
me.
Absolutely. Now, we had you on the radio show a couple months back, too, when this was first released.
Absolutely.
As well.
That was a lot of fun.
So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, here we are again, but now on TV.
Exactly.
And able to talk. Now, you're originally from England. What is it that really inspired you to do this?
Well, very simple. I mean, it's, to me, I found that the world's polarized, particularly after 9/11. Yeah, and it was a frustration that made me want to pick up a camera and go around the world. Because I find people's opinions of what they think God is to be a little bit childish. It's like a schoolyard mentality of my God is greater than your God.
My you-know-what is greater and bigger than yours. So it's
yes,
almost
and it's
the idea, unfortunately.
And it seemed to me to be in a world of communication, understanding, and internet, telephones, and TV, radio, etc., when people can actually talk to other communities around the world, a little bit juvenile to assume that somebody's God is greater than somebody else's God.
So when you say polarized after 9/11, what you really mean is religiously polarized.
Correct. Yeah.
Philosophically polarized.
Religiously polarized.
Okay.
I mean, basically the United States started taking Islam as an enemy. Muslims were suddenly, in the same sentence, demonized, thank you, good word.
Sure.
And, to a degree, there is a lot of truth that was going on in that period of time. I mean, you have grown men flying airplanes into buildings going, God is great. You have the leader of the three...
While killing people. While killing people.
Well, yeah, and suicide. Jihad, what do you see? This is the misnomer here.
Again,
Jihad does not mean holy war. It's the fanatics that have taken a word that means in a struggle to find your relationship in yourself with God and turned it into holy war, which is actually there is no such thing as holy war.
The whole idea of jihad is, as you're saying, it's an inner struggle and it is an inner war between the various aspects of ourselves.
It's a war that you take in internally.
But it has nothing to do with killing other human beings.
Correct.
Or any sentient life for that matter.
Correct. And in fact,
it's been projected outward.
Absolutely.
In a very, pathological way.
Well, it's been projected by a media frenzy of people that want to hear what evil-minded individuals do in the name of God.
But so you approached the film with this attitude and perspective.
Well, I hope I didn't make the film with any attitude. I just wanted to ask questions.
Right.
Because although there was a sense of frustration.
Yes.
So I guess
I think that came through. Yeah, it came through in the film. And that notwithstanding, you captured, as I was saying at the beginning, some, I felt, extraordinary footage.
Thank you very
and
much.
Some scenes that are good for the sake of humanity, to know they exist, the Messiah the way you did, and the fundamentalist Christian out in the Southwest somewhere, in a gun shop, surrounded by her, weapons of war, and, at the beginning, and, I mean, you just had some amazing shots, plus the philosopher, plus Ringo's Starr, it's
God is love.
God is love, right? Liverpool accent. No, it really had some lovely moments. At the end of which, of course, I felt, I don't want to give this away, but there is what happens in Israel, Palestine, a very, very beautiful moment where everything changed. But, I want to bring this up, because as I was watching it, because I really paid attention to it twice, one in preparation for radio and then for today. What I think got a little intertwined is the idea of God, and let's just say one's sense of spiritual calling, with religion. And so I got very clear that another possible name for the film would be, what is religion?
Indeed.
Because I think that that's what was showing up more than anything.
But if it was a film that was asking what is religion, then you'd have to delve into individual religions and talk about what religions are. The whole point about the movie actually was really to ask what is God, and try and find what that means to individuals on a level, on a personal level, and you see, so many people wake up, they are born, they go to school, and they are influenced by the forces around them, their parents, their community, their church, economics, and traditions that have gone on for a long time.
Social programming of one sort or another.
Exactly. And then within there is usually religion, okay?
Yeah.
And so the religion takes them and then they teach them things as far as a code of practice and how to worship, and church, synagogue, mosque, temple, whatever the religion is. And people don't really think about their association with God. What I wanted to do in the film, and I think it really comes out, is by asking people what is God, not who is God. So you're not putting God into the image of man. Right. You're looking at God as an entity from an objective point of view and going, what is it that makes people do these things? What is it that, why would the leader of the free world in 2003 go onto the BBC and said, I invaded Iraq because God told me to? Or what is it that a suicide bomber is doing by blowing themselves up in sacrifice and innocent other human beings to buy themselves a place into heaven? Now that is all politics and manipulation, and is associated with religion. So the film isn't about religion. The film's really more about what people's search is for God. So if I was going to call the film What is Religion, it would be a very different film.
It might be. But you see, I still have the view that the leader of the free world, so to speak, and we use such words rather lightly, I would have to say, but no matter, it was on BBC, and that's what's important. Said what he did, God told me to. God told me to blow that country up and told me, all the insane things, is not so much his relationship with God as much as his relationship to the social programming and his religious education from his religion. Correct. See, that's what I'm saying.
And you're very, very right to say that. Yeah. So in a sense, you can't make a film about what people think God is without bringing religion into it. But at the same
programming
time,
of religion, which is rather intense and rather dismal, because it's separative.
Well, let's not forget about the good things that religion does. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the bad things.
Fine.
But there are good things that religion does.
Sure.
There's a wonderful sense of community.
But I just started with the negative things.
Well, I know everybody does because you're a journalist. And good news is no news.
No, not here. This is a better world.
I know.
It's different.
I know.
We like to make distinctions between things so we can appreciate the bloom of the beauty. Oh, no.
So that's healthy, because I think that going through the whole process, there are many things that I learned from this on a spiritual level.
Like
you want to call.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, that I think there are many roads up the mountain, but the view is always the same at the top.
Yes.
It
That's
doesn't
what they
really
say.
matter.
The paths are many, but the truth is one.
The truth is one. The similarities actually between monotheistic religions is incredible. There should be no demarcation lines between them, because they're very, very their base systems and their foundations. I mean, I can break it down very quickly.
Go ahead.
Why not? You've got the Jew.
I know it quite well, but it's okay.
Well, please. But I mean, if you listen to those particular focus and anchor points, then there is no difference. The Jewish tradition has the Torah and it has the Ten Commandments, a great code of practice. Really, really cool. Read it, do it. Yeah. It's good. The Christians
it's
have
Ethics 101.
It is. And then you have the Christians who have the Old Testament, the Torah, same book. And you also have Jesus Christ, Sermon on the Mount in the New Testament. What a
rabbi.
What a great...
A rabbi.
I mean, in a sense, yes.
No.
He is.
Not in a sense. He was a rabbi.
He was a rabbi.
He's a Jewish Israeli and a rabbi. By tradition.
Actually, he was a Jewish Arab.
This is a whole other debate.
Okay, let's not go. But the point...
He's a Semite, if that's what you mean.
Okay, well that could
be
construed
absolutely.
To be that. But anyway, let's not get into terminology here. Let's get into what he said. And Jesus Christ's Sermon on the Mount was so beautiful. What a great code of practice. And then you have the Muslims who have, the Quran, and the 5 pillars of Islam. Well, hello, it's exactly the same as the 10 Commandments, it's the same as Jesus Christ's message on the Mount. And so what on earth is all the problem about?
Right.
There shouldn't be.
I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, you have the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
It's not complicated.
Okay.
It's human beings.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with the religion, because you just outlined very well how similar they are.
Yeah.
Let's look at it historically, okay? Judaism was the beginner of the monotheistic perspective in the West. And some say that this perspective actually came from the East. That's a whole other story, but that Abraham actually originated in Kashmir. Okay, let's leave that aside.
And Jesus Christ spent a lot of time in those
places. In India, absolutely. And the Sufis, it's a whole very interesting story.
And there's not a lot of difference between Sufism and Buddhism when you break it down. But
no, that's right. That's right. So let's just say Abraham came. He came to Egypt. Interesting. So Moses was trained in Egyptian science, which later the Jews take on as Kabbalah, the mystic side of Judaism. But actually, it's interestingly mostly Egyptian. Okay, and then it follows that out of Judaism comes Christianity, because Jesus was a Jew, and there was a sect that began following Jesus. And they ultimately became, I'm taking a couple thousand years and squishing it, please understand, you have to be somewhere soon, but it became Christian, so that goes into Rome and all of that happens. Out of that, several hundred years later comes Muhammad, who actually tried to please the upper rabbinical sect called the Sanhedrin, and tried to be included as a prophet in the Jewish perspective. This is very curious, most people don't know this. And he was not recognized as a visionary, as a prophet. And he, in some anger perhaps, left and started his own religion, the way people do today. They start their own religions all over the place.
Which is a code of practice, and it's
but they're all essentially, they're all
and
essentially just cousins or offspring of Judaism, which is really offspring largely of Egyptian science and spirituality, which may have come from Atlantis. That what I would have to say is speculative, but everything else is really rather factual.
But the point
it's interesting, isn't it?
It's fascinating because everything
they're all
is
brothers. They're all brothers.
Well, of course, Isaac and Ishmael.
Right.
Half brothers. But the point is that you can talk all about this and what happened thousands of years ago, and the politicization, and also what Islam did to northern Africa into the Middle East, and how it was a code of practice, and how Sharia law came in and banded together and got rid of all the barbarism and all the other things that were going on at that time, which is why you have certain codes of practice instilled into the Quran, like wearing veils and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
That was because it was a time-savvy way of actually making some kind of civilization, which it went on to be one of the greatest civilizations in the world, and actually gave birth to mathematics. I could go on too.
Well, to at least zero.
But that's not what the film is.
Yes.
Zero. Zero was
right.
Good.
Zero was good.
But until Y2K. But the point is, that's not what the film's about. The film has nothing to do about all these people thousands of years ago. The film has to do what people feel in their heart. Exactly. Listen, I think that we are very primitive little organisms. I almost said the wrong word. Sitting on a big rock in a scary vacuum.
But from that, ultimately.
Yeah, well, absolutely, it's where we came from. Sitting on a big rock in a very scary vacuum, and we are driven by a lot of our fears. We don't know what happens really when we die, apart from Eric Idle, who told me one night that, we do, we rot. And we don't know where we came from, really. Okay, so there's a scare factor here.
That's right. Fear.
The point that I've learned from making this film and having the wonderful opportunity of going around and talking to all these people is that you can hold on to something without having to push other people away. And that is what our personal, individual responsibility...
Excuse me, you understand.
But that's what our own individual purpose is in life, in the codes of practice, and it's talked about in indigenous populations, in Hinduism, in the monotheistic religions, etc. But so let's just
tolerance, patience, openness, embrace, respect,
love. So why don't we as individuals, instead of belonging to a club that you have to pay membership fee to go and play golf and buy yourself a place into heaven, right? Unless you do this, you're going to go to hell and to pearly gates and all that. Why don't we just every day choose to lilt the world up in the right direction? They say if everybody in China jumped up at the same time and jump down again, there'd be a 7.9 earthquake. Maybe that's what happened last week.
That's so interesting. That's interesting.
But we have the power to do that, and that's what I
Right.
really think you get out of this film is the individual, which is why at the end of it, it's up to individuals to make up their mind and not have somebody else come along, politicize it, and say, well, this is what you have to think,
Or economize it.
or economize it, because a lot of people's actions within these clubs is driven by money.
There's a lot of money in it. You know, that ending, I referenced it earlier, Peter, is really beautiful. I mean, those guys, I don't want to say too much, but it is really beautiful. It's very touching to see. And yes, it's very much about empowerment on a personal level, that we're the ones that
We
can
have
make
to
a
take stock
difference.
of our
In fact, we're the only ones that can make a difference, and that's the famous quote of Margaret Mead's, you know, never underestimate the actions or the value of a small group of committed citizens to change the world. Indeed, they're the only ones who ever have.
Absolutely,
You know,
and it's
and that's
our
the way it goes.
fiscal responsibility to make the world a better place on an individual based level.
Exactly.
And that's what I want people to get out of this film. That's
Exactly.
why I hope everybody will come and see it, or
Yes,
get it
indeed.
from
Is it
DVD.
being shown as a feature film? I mean, are you getting it into theatrical release, or?
We did a small theatrical release, and it's really it belongs on DVD, so it can be available for everybody, because these days a lot of people don't go to theatres, so there's not much point in just playing it in movie theatres for a documentary.
Yeah.
And it's really something that I hope people will embrace, take home, and play over and over
Yeah.
again, because it's very layered.
You know, what I'm going to do, and I've done this with a number of films, is I invite a group of people over. And, you know, like in
Create
this
a
place,
debate.
20, 30, 40
A conversation.
people. Exactly. We watch and then we discuss.
It's
And
a brilliant
it's so
idea.
much fun. It's
And
really
Hay House, the
rich.
guys who are putting it out,
Yeah.
I really encourage you to do that.
Wonderful.
To create dialogue.
Exactly.
If we talk to each other, the world becomes a better place.
There we go. That's the theme of our organization and shows.
Well,
So-
I wish you great success in
Thank you.
continuing this
Thank you.
message.
Thank you. Great to have you on.
Really a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So that is the director of the film that you're about to see some pieces of. Not the end, because I want you to get it and watch it for that juicy end. So this is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. Thanks so much for joining us. Visit us at our website at www.abetterworld.net. And what is your website?
www.omgmovie.com.
Great. Wonderful, Peter. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Stay tuned and you'll see some pieces of the show.